What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another podcast episode. What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm patiently waiting.
For this one, Stacy doesn't know what the topic is, but I do, and that's all that matters. So for this one, we are going to be talking about some of the resources that we've used through our fitness journey that have helped shape us into the trainers or into the fitness people that we are today. So we'll start off because we both have bought books at different points in time. We've watched videos at different points in time.
You just unlocked a core memory for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. We've listened to many podcasts, audiobooks, lots of different things that have shaped us into how we train, how we live, what we find our priorities are. So I figure why not share some of the resources that we used, and you can kind of pick and choose what you like, and or maybe you've already used those same resources in the past. But we'll start off with something that I think will be simple. So we'll start off with what is the most influential podcast that you've listened to in terms of health and fitness. So it doesn't have to be strictly fitness if it's health related, so mindset or a self-help kind of thing as well.
Oh, I'm such a sucker for podcasts. This is really hard. So the very first podcast I listened to was Mind Pump.
No, it wasn't.
No, you're right.
The first podcast I ever listened to was Mind Pump.
You're right. So the first podcast I ever listened to, and it was a fitness podcast, Penny, get out of here, was Chalene Johnson, which is crazy because that just came full circle.
Yeah.
And the reason that I found her was because I was a Beachbody coach. Which is kind of crazy, but my first, when I said that you just unlocked a core memory for me in terms of resources.
No, we got to stick with podcasts. We're not
okay. So Chalene Johnson podcast. I think she had 2 podcasts at the time. One was more, come here, Penny. One was more fitness related, and the other one was more businessy related. But I definitely liked the fitness one a lot.
Yeah. My first podcast I ever listened to was Mind Pump.
Yeah.
And they, for years,
were
no, not the only, but they were definitely the most influential in my approach to working out.
Yeah, because they completely shifted your mindset.
Yeah. So in terms of fitness, exercise, workouts, Mind Pump was very, very, that was very powerful.
Yeah, that was transformative.
Yeah, so Mind Pump Media, awesome podcast to listen to for great information, because it wasn't all about training intensity. They were very much so do the minimum amount to get the best result.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not throwing a bunch of things. It was very much so full body workouts, only training 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So it was very minimalistic, whereas before it was every single day I had to be
as
training
hard as possible.
It was workouts to make me puke.
Yeah.
So it was very intense. But Mind Pump, Lane Norton and Sohi had a podcast.
Yeah, that was a long time
I don't even remember what it was called. I feel like it was called the BioLane podcast or something. But that one as well, the audio quality sucked compared to Mind Pump, but everything sucked compared to Mind Pump.
Yeah, and honestly, it still does.
Yeah, they had the best quality, and they definitely ruined any other podcast for me, because it took me such a long time to get beyond Mind Pump, because it was listening to them, it was like they were in the same room as you because the quality was just so perfect. But Layne Norton's podcast with Sohi was definitely a huge one in terms of my nutrition. Because they were very, very much so if it fits your macros and flexible dieting and like building better relationships with food and also understanding the science behind it. Right. So it was giving you a lot of good information based off of actual studies and not just, you know,
whatever's trendy.
Eat out of these containers and you're going to drop 50 pounds.
Nice job.
Yeah. So it was like a big shift because before that, it was definitely like Beachbody was definitely one of those resources that we used to get started. Right.
And like nothing bad about it. Like looking back, like I've gone through so many different trains of thought about Beachbody and like just that modality. And like where I'm at now, it's like whatever you enjoy that gets you moving is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I still largely disagree with like their nutrition side of stuff because they just, you know, they want you to buy their protein powder because it's the best in the world.
Yeah, their meal replacements.
It's very like I remember their nutrition being like, if you weigh less than 150 pounds, this is how much you should be eating. And if you weigh more than 150 pounds, this is what you should be eating. So it was like very generic and not individual.
What was the one with the containers?
The 21-day fix.
Yeah, so I remember you doing that and I was going to do it with you. And it was like, I'm 100, at the time I was probably 180, 190. And like the food they had me eating was ridiculous because like at that point in time, like that was one of the fittest points of my life.
Me too, which is terrible.
I was consuming a lot of calories. Like I was consuming like 3,200 calories and staying lean.
Yeah, very lean.
And then all of a sudden it's like I was going to do it. And I was like, I can't eat this.
No.
Like it was the amount of calories was so small. I was like,
ends up being like 1,000 to 1,200 calories.
Yeah. But again, like it gets the ball rolling.
It does. Side note, I like legit 2 days ago found the cookbook that I purchased separately for the 21-day fix. I was just looking through it and there were great recipes in there, but
we need to get back on track because we definitely took a
podcast was definitely Shalene Johnson, and then you got me to start listening to Mind Pump, and I don't think I listened to anything but Mind Pump for a solid 2 years after that.
Like there was a solid point of time where I was constantly listening to it. Like I don't know how many episodes I would fly through in like a day. But yeah, though. So Mind Pump, and they're still making great
podcasts. Yeah.
Episodes.
And they literally just interviewed Shalene Johnson on the podcast. So that was like two of my opposite worlds
like
colliding.
Before they were much more like it was all information from them. Now they interview a lot of good people and their approach has changed a little bit, but like it's nice to see that they evolve with the times and they're very open-minded people. But so like if you want a really good podcast, Mind Pump would be my number one.
We'll have to like tag the channel in the description because they do the video podcasts like us now too. And it's just very entertaining to watch. Yeah,
no, they're definitely the best one out there. Like there are other ones that are good, but like they're very much so like for your average person, right? Like it's not like there are a lot that I listen to in regards to fitness, but it's like to become a bodybuilder,
or
to become
like the elite
athlete, or train like an athlete, or train like a bodybuilder. Like they're very much so just like, no, get in, do your workout, you're going to see great results. And so like that was a big, very, very influential podcast for me, 100%. They're definitely the reason why I still pursue fitness to this day.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Now, next up, book.
Okay, so this was the core memory that you unlocked. So I'm pretty sure I was still in high school, but we were dating, and I had just gotten my first credit card. Okay. And I stopped at the post office for my mom because up north, everything comes through the post office. And there was like a little postcard thing from Women's Health.
Mm.
And you had to like literally write like with a pen on this little postcard your credit card number and check off what books you wanted to receive in return. Like it was like a promotional thing.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I spent like $150 on 2 women's health books. It could have very well been like the first purchase I made on my credit card in high school. And I like did it, and I didn't want my mom to know about it because my parents were never like big health and fitnessy people. So I like wrote my credit card number on it for everyone to see and just dropped it back in the mail. And then like 6 weeks later, I got this package in the mail, and it was the Women's Health, the Big Book of Exercise. So it was like a Bible of exercises, full body weight, and like all different types of gym machines and stuff. And the other one was called How to Look Better Naked. And it had like really restrictive nutrition in it and like body weight workouts.
But was that influential? Like, did that help shape you? Did you actually read it? Did you learn
I did.
from
it? I had a hard time getting rid of those 2 books. Like, I think those 2 books are what actually piqued my curiosity into fitness. Because I used to go to the gym in high school, but it was just to like mess around with friends at the gym. Like I probably went once or twice a week, didn't actually work out. When we started going to the gym together in high school in Geraldton,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I was doing. Like I had not been consistent enough. I probably tried to fake it to make it look like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't get rid of those 2 books until like 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just crazy. But those 2 books to me are like what made me like think, oh, that's cool. Like they look great. Yeah, I'd love to look this way or be able to accomplish these things.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of magazines. Like
Oh,
I used to buy
yeah.
magazines all the time. Men's Health, Muscle and Fitness.
Yeah, we used to have stacks of magazines.
Remember the Rock Hard Challenge? Every year I would buy
Oh,
the edition that had the Rock Hard Challenge in it.
I do remember
and it was
that.
Like, I'm going to enter it this year. I'm going to enter it this
do
year. And I never
remember that.
would, but like I always looked so forward to those, and it was always so neat because it's like I'm very much so into superheroes and things like that. So all of them, especially back then, I mean, they might still be, but I don't buy them anymore. But like it was very much so like I remember having like the Hugh Jackman like Wolverine one, and it was like, oh man,
I wonder if he'll release another one.
Yeah, I'm gonna train and look like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So like those were huge for me. Another one is Arnold's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding.
We should have took these down.
Massive book. So much information that is still effective to this day.
Yeah.
And then one that always stands out in my mind is Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson, because I always neglected the importance of sleep. I still don't practice everything that he states in there.
Yeah.
But it was still like a big eye opener of just like how much difference you can make by actually paying attention to your sleep and optimizing your sleep. That one was huge. And that one's is one I always recommend to people too.
Nutrition wise, I remember us like geeking out and like trying so many recipes out of the oh my gosh, what's his name? Mike Dolce book.
Yeah.
So we bought like his book, and then we bought the cookbook to go with it. Those were pretty influential for me in terms of nutrition.
Yeah, me too, because at that point in time, I was also training martial arts.
Yeah.
So like he was the guy to get the fighters to make weight, right? And like was doing awesome things. And it was very much so like basically like paleo diet, really.
And like the recipes were so simple.
Yeah.
Like there was like a hard-boiled egg recipe in there.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing fancy.
No.
It was very, very basic. And I think when you're like trying to like figure like a new thing out, the basics are what you need.
Yeah.
And that I vividly remember specific recipes in there.
Yeah. So like there was some good ones. Whole30. Whole30 books were huge.
Whole30 changed my life.
Yeah.
Like I was having some serious hormonal issues, and I did like I think like I did the whole thing, and then I like screwed up the reintroduction phase. Yeah. Because when you restrict that much, and I wasn't doing it like to lose weight, it was literally to try and pinpoint what foods made me feel like crap.
There was such a long point in time where it's like every single time we would eat, you were like, oh, I don't feel good. I don't feel, and it was like, holy smokes. And then Whole30.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge one. I was surprised you didn't say that one. Like one.
I didn't really think about that. I have like 6 different Whole30 cookbooks now too.
We still have them, and like there's still good recipes in there. It's just very much so like limit your processed foods. Eat whole foods.
Yeah, looking back at it, like it's kind of crazy because I now am diagnosed with hormonal issues, and gluten is one of the things that they like eliminate forever. And like in the Whole30, like gluten is one of those things you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And like recently in the last year when I did my like big no gluten, no dairy, no soy, I felt the greatest that I've felt in a really long time. So
lots of good changes.
It's really kind of crazy to think about.
So lots of books.
So many books. I could sit here and name books all day. We're book
I'm
people.
sure there are much better ones now, but like I find, I don't know, now I get a lot of information from like different sources on social media, and it's less like physical product. It's more so just like taking tidbits and just like trying things out on my own and experimenting and seeing what works for me and what doesn't. But like they were great starting points for sure. Next, YouTube. What was the first YouTuber you followed to like kind of, I don't know whether it was to like motivate you or inspired you to like pursue fitness a little bit more?
Bringing back flashbacks.
Yeah.
So 2, and they're very different people. First was Heidi Summers, Buff Bunny, which is how you started. It was because of me. So
we'll get into
that. But so yeah, Heidi was prepping for a bikini show.
Yeah.
And she did like I don't remember what her series was called because I know it's not the one you watched. And I was like, that's so cool. Like to be in complete control of your physique and like this is how to control it. It still fascinates me. And I binge watched like her, I don't know how many episodes. It was probably like 20 episodes in that series. I binge watched it in like 2 days, if that.
Yeah, we definitely dove down some crazy rabbit holes with
crazy
people who we just like connected with, like for one reason or another, whether it was something that we were like, it was inspiring to like, it's like, yeah, you know what, I want to try that, or it was just interesting to see that. That style,
it was something that I had never been exposed to before. Like preparing for like a bodybuilding or bikini competition show like that. Like never would I have ever considered that.
What's number 2?
Simply Mander. Because she was just like a badass. She still is, but it was very much more like CrossFit, athletic, functional, doesn't give a crap about what her body looks like. It's more like what her body's capable of. So it was like Heidi, strictly aesthetic, and Simply Mander, strictly like functional.
Yeah.
And I still follow both of them like to this day.
Simply
Absolutely.
Mander also, I liked her videos for the food.
Yes,
because she would like take the time to make like well thought out
yes.
meals.
Well, she's a Black Iron nutrition coach
Now.
as well at the time too.
Was she?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, but I could have. This is why I was like, you're gonna know the answers.
Yeah, yeah. It's
me.
crazy. I have like goosebumps.
Yeah, for me it was through Heidi. I didn't watch, like I would watch them with you, like you would have them on, and I would definitely be interested.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
That topic in general is just always fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
But through that, I ended up finding Christian.
Yeah.
So Christian Guzman had a YouTube channel, and he was a Gymshark athlete, and like I found him because I was like, oh, like I want to find somebody that's prepping for a show like Heidi was, but like a male, so that I can kind of see the process for how a male would actually prep for this. And I was initially looking for Steve Cook.
Right.
I was trying to find Steve Cook.
And they were big Gymshark, both of them.
And they were both. And I just so happened to stumble upon, it was a video of Christian in Australia for a Gymshark meet. And he was prepping for summer shredding.
The very first one.
His summer shredding. And Steve Cook was training at the gym.
Can you believe that was like 8 years ago? They trained together. 8 years ago.
Like insane. But like instantly, at first I was like, oh, this guy sounds like a surfer. Like just like that mindset. And then it was like, but then he was launching Alpha Elite. Like Alpha Elite was starting to grow, and like so it was like, not only was it the fitness aspect, but it was like, man, this guy is getting shredded enough to like compete in a show. He's an amateur, but like still like dialed. Well, amazing.
And he was only like 19 at the time, and we were like 23, 24, if that.
What? How old is he now? I thought he's 30 now, so he's only 2 years younger than me. Didn't he just have his 30th birthday?
Maybe. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he just...
You can fact check it, but yeah, so Christian was like, the more I watched, the more I was like, yes, like this guy, the way this guy trains, the way this guy thinks is so much in line with who I want to be. That like, it was like instant. It was like, yes, this is it. And the quality of his videos were insane.
Oh, yeah.
So again, it was just like with the podcast where I found like the number one podcast in terms of quality. I felt like I found that fitness YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the exact same. Like, it was just like, it was so high quality and like so entertaining.
You know what? He was probably around like 20 I guess 22 at the time. So he is 30 now, but he's born in 93. So he's 3 years younger than you.
Still.
But anyways, we were so young and they were so young and they were doing like these super cool things and like huge things that we never would have even like thought of had we not been exposed through them on YouTube, which is just crazy. And then like, I feel like in a sense, we like grew up as friends. We've never met them. And like, I catch myself like thinking about like these influential people, even though I've never met them. And it's wild that like we live in a day where you are, a reflection of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And like, you don't need to block yourself at the physical people you hang out with. Like, it can be people on the internet or podcasters or authors. Like, if you immerse yourself in what they're providing, like, you're going to take bits of information from that. It sounds so nerdy, but like, I feel like I know them on a personal level. Like, they've everyone we've mentioned
For
has
sure.
shaped me.
Like, how many times would we literally talk about, like, oh, did you see what Christian did?
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, did you see what Mind Pump was talking
Yeah,
about?
or
Like,
Max,
yeah,
or
like,
like
it's just like,
anything.
there's so many times where it's just like having conversations almost like we're literally right there with them. But it's like, no.
So our like YouTube influencers have changed a lot over the years. Who are your top 3 now? Because I feel like narrowing it down to one is probably, actually, no, you probably have a one favorite. No, you don't.
Like Chris Bumstead is like I would say my favorite.
Okay.
Because of what he's like
Accomplished.
and like he's just, to me, he's like one of the greatest of all time. Like he's gonna always be like the classic physique champion.
Yeah, like he's like
he's my generation of just like
number
like,
one.
He's always gonna be, in my mind, he's gonna be number one. Just like, you know, like Michael Jordan, like people who grew up in the era of Michael Jordan are still like, Michael Jordan's number one.
Yeah.
LeBron is like the next generation
of number
like
one.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's like, to me, like he's always gonna be like the number one guy.
Yeah.
And then Will Tennyson has to be on my list because he is just insanely entertaining. He is not by any means like a top athlete or anything, but like he's just so genuine and so like authentic and helpful and funny that you love him. And he just puts out great content, like consistently great, where whether he's collaborating, like he doesn't change. Like he doesn't conform to who he's like collaborating with. He's still himself, and it's very entertaining.
Oh yeah,
so like those are like the big two, and then like number 3 would definitely still be Christian.
Okay.
I don't watch him as consistently because, and it's weird, but it's because like, one, he only films in small windows, right? Like he has like his summer shredding prep where he's posting daily, and then he disappears because he needs a break. And he's blown up to a point where like he's created so much that it's like almost unrelatable at this point for me, because it's like, he's so like, I have so far to go before I can be on that level, that like it's like whoa, like it's too much.
Like you lost me, kind of.
But at the same time, it's like, I still like, he's still great. Like,
for sure.
You know, he hasn't changed. He's just doing bigger things.
Okay, so we covered podcasts, books.
Well, who are your YouTubers now?
Now? Oh, YouTube has changed so much for me. In terms of fitness, I would probably still have to say Manders. I can't even think. It has to just be her, I would say. And then I watch a lot more fitness stuff with you. Like, I love Chris Bumstead and Will Tennyson. Like, I could watch their stuff forever. And like, it helps that like they have funny girlfriends that I like enjoy as well. Like, it's so just, I don't know, entertaining overall.
Yeah, because I feel like your YouTube has transitioned.
Oh God, I like hardly. Yeah, that's the thing. I like hardly watch other interests, fitness.
Whereas like me, it's just still just like everything.
Oh God, I'm subscribed. Fitness. Like, Ethan hates how many channels I'm subscribed to. I'm subscribed to like 80 or 90 YouTube channels.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But like, I just, whether I still enjoy them or not, I have a hard time like unsubscribing, because even though I haven't watched them in the last 3 years, they've somehow shaped me into the person I am today. God, that sounds so corny.
Yeah.
So corny. What about like social media in general? Does it change at all, or is it still like the Chris Bumstead and the Will Tennyson, and
I don't know. My social media is so messed up right now. I can't
oh, you
even
know
think.
what? One of the only other fitnessy YouTubers that I follow is Russ Orhe and Meg Squats. Oh my God, how did I forget Meg Squats? That being said, her fitness modality has changed a lot over the past couple of years, and it's not like in line with what I enjoy anymore. Still amazing content, especially if you're postpartum or ever want to have a baby. 100% go do that, because
yeah, I don't know.
I don't get targeted with nearly as much fitnessy stuff on social media anymore.
I don't know. I feel like the only thing I do on social media lately is just like watch shorts and reels.
Yeah. I mean, that's all that people post. That's why.
But
for me, it's definitely the same people.
Yeah.
Any other resources you can think of that really helped?
Like, I would say those are the main ones.
Like books, podcasts, YouTube.
Tell you what didn't help. All of my certifications.
Oh my God.
Useless.
Yeah.
Nothing more useless than that certificate.
Yeah. $2,000 personal training certification where they tell you to train every single person the exact same way.
It's just like garbage information. Definitely like not the way to like learn. It's
and
garbage.
Like, if you're looking for advice, don't pick someone solely based on their credentials, because it means absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm. I've always had that like mindset where it's like pick and choose what works, gravitate towards it, do it for as long as I see results, and then move on to the next thing. Like, that's very much always been my mindset in fitness.
For sure.
Always. And that's definitely just like the martial arts journey, because it was like, because like Bruce Lee, like how many martial arts books did I used to own? And like reading through like all of Bruce Lee's books, and like just like take what is useful and
discard the rest.
Exactly. So that's always been like my mindset for growth.
Interesting. Very wise.
That's what I am.
Well, this was a fun trip down memory lane. I could talk about this stuff forever.
Yeah,
obviously.
I know. It's already 30 minutes.
You picked a good topic today.
I know. I knew it was gonna be, because it's like nostalgic, but at the same time, it's like that was the path that led us to what we do now.
Now I want to just go binge watch old YouTube videos.
It's not the same though.
I know.
It's not the same, because you know what to expect. You know the outcomes. You know where they are now.
We used to be so immersed. Like, everything we did revolved around health and fitness, and I miss it. Like, I miss it and I don't. But I was in good shape.
I don't think it restricted much in terms of like life.
No.
Like, it wasn't like we didn't go do things.
No, we never were very, very restrictive ever.
No, it was very much so like a flexible life.
Which we still try to.
It's just a lot harder now, because it's just more chaotic.
Yep.
Definitely more chaotic now, but same goal. It's just a harder path
to get there. For sure.
Harder to execute now. But hopefully you like this video. We'll try to tag some of the resources that we talked about, so that you can check them out for yourself. But hopefully you like this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe. Until next time, peace.